I think I should give you a small history lesson on Jack of Hearts. He used to be an Avenger, and while on the team, he would lose control of his powers, always clashing with Scott Lang Ant-Man. But the only person who saw through this unstable power was She-Hulk. But Jack would die in 2004 in Avengers issue 74. I'm telling you this as it's important to how She-Hulk and Jack of Hearts interact, as he's been dead for quite a long time, and she's really confused why he just crashed into her apartment. Before we get started, I had to bring up this variant cover that has absolutely nothing to do with this issue. She-Hulk isn't even on the cover. But why? She-Hulk is the character, the entitled character. This is Gwen Stacy as Wolverine. Gwen Stacy isn't in this comic. Wolverine isn't in this comic. This character that's on the cover isn't in this comic. I mean, last issue there's a Deadpool variant, Yeah, variant. That's the correct term. I got mixed up for a moment. There's a Deadpool variant for the last issue of this series, but She-Hulk was released with Deadpool. She-Hulk's not even on this one. Anyways, let's get started. This issue starts with a flashback to the last time She-Hulk and Jack of Hearts saw each other, when he nearly drains her dry of all of her gamma energy. Accidentally, of course. Back to the present day, She-Hulk is freaking out since Jack of Hearts just pops up in her apartment after being dead for literally a decade, which prompts her to ask if he needs help, that if she should call Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, or Hank Pym, to which he declines all of them. She-Hulk is confused over how he's alive, offering him water, which he also declines because he doesn't need water to live. She then asks if he's there looking for the Wasp, since it's her apartment. Jack then creepily explains how all he remembers after dying was that he was looking for Jen. He doesn't remember why or how he got there. All he knew was that he needed to find her. I found this part really, really creepy. It might have meant to be intended to be romantic. I found it really creepy. She asks questions end when Jack explains what he knows, or at least remembers. He remembers back to how Tony made a containment chamber to hold Jack in order to make sure he didn't explode. He talks about how good of a friend Iron Man was, and how he looked up to him. But after the time he nearly killed Jen, he left the Avengers, which would lead to his death. Next thing he knew, he was waking up in a chamber with someone draining his powers for some reason. He doesn't know really why, but he knew they had to get out. Jack was eventually able to escape and went right to Jen, thinking only Jen, for unknown reasons, could help him, which already kind of contradicts his previous statements. So my theory is that this isn't Jack. Someone's impersonating him, or maybe Jack doesn't know that, but I think this isn't Jack. She-Hulk tries to offer him water again, trying to comfort him, but clearly doesn't know what to do, which I thought was a really nice thing to include, because I feel like we've all once in a while have been put in a situation where we don't know what to do. Like your friend or your parent or your sibling is really upset and you're trying to comfort them and make them feel better, but you just don't know how. And I like that She-Hulk clearly here isn't like an expert like therapist, so she doesn't know how to comfort Jack over, being dead for a decade. I know it's really just a small something, but I really thought it was nice to see that, as it kind of humanizes Jen, which I think is a big difference between She-Hulk and Hulk, because She-Hulk is very human. Well, Hulk, in a way, is kind of, even though he's not like a god like Thor, he, in a way, has always been presented as being a god among men, while She-Hulk is just like everybody else, which is a big reason why I've always really liked her character. Third time of offering Drax something to drink, he finally says yes, because he's surprisingly thirsty, which I know sounds weird to include, but Jack is known not to needing to eat or sleep or drink. So how is he thirsty? I think this is more clues to point to the fact that maybe this isn't really Jack. Jack goes over to the fridge and chugs a pitcher of water until he's no longer parched. Jack then starts eating cold pizza pops right out of the freezer when She-Hulk offers to order a pizza. But she then offers to call Tony again, but Jack responds that he's afraid of Tony and that maybe he'll lock him up again, which is really weird because he never locked him up in the first place. That chamber was to save his life. So what does he mean? Maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but I really, really don't think this is actually Jack of Hearts. I think this is someone that was like a clone of Jack of Hearts, or that has been sent to She-Hulk to attempt to either kidnap her, drain her of her gamma energy, or maybe just outright kill her or spy on her. I don't know, but I don't think it's really Jack. He ends up laying on Jen's couch, well, technically it's Jan's couch, feeling exhausted after the debate about Iron Man's morals, thinking that he just needs to rest, but before he knows it, he's fast asleep and snoring. Next morning, She-Hulk goes to work, not before leaving Jack a note telling him to get rest and that she'll bring them pizza tonight. We see as She-Hulk travels through the city that she shocks everyone who sees her, which is a moment I really liked because Jen loves being She-Hulk. I always really enjoy seeing her embrace it rather than fight it like Bruce. Although in Bruce's defense, Hulk seems to be a different personality, while She-Hulk and Jen are the same person. We also get a little nice moment where we see an ambulance that gets stuck in traffic, so She-Hulk lifts it above her head and brings it out of traffic, and then sticks her attorney card on the window, which I thought was not just funny, but also just shows Jen's compassion. Finally gets to work where she meets her boss, Mallory Brooks, who complains about her being only 10 minutes early, which she wishes her to be even more early, which is kind of unfit standards, but it's Mallory Brooks. The comic then ends with showing the facility Jack was being held in, and that there is a literal corkboard of photos about She-Hulk, of her origin, growing up, and it's all just very, very, very creepy and stalkery. Something tells me Jack isn't Jack, and that either he or maybe someone created him are going after She-Hulk. Could just say maybe I am stretching too much, but I am positive this isn't Jack. I'm not sure if he knows it or not. Maybe he doesn't, which I hope is the case because I think that could be more compelling. Another clue to this is, other than him being a stalker, is the fact that his death here is different from when he actually died, the way he describes it. Which makes sense because She-Hulk wouldn't know how he died. Well, exactly how he died. He died because of his feeling of that he disappointed his dad. He later come back as a zombie, but instead he's sure it was about She-Hulk. I think he only said that in an attempt to guilt her into letting him into her life, because it wasn't about She-Hulk, it was about his dad, which either might be a retcon, which I don't think so, because Marvel, although it does do retcons. On the other hand, I don't mean to disrespect her by talking about Jack first, since it's her comic, but he was the biggest mystery out of this issue. Meanwhile, I really like seeing She-Hulk's reactions to everything that's happening, wondering how she's meant to react, which I think is definitely something a lot of people can relate to. Not necessarily with this situation, because I don't think this situation has ever happened to anybody. Well, okay, not nobody, because the situation has happened in real life with my family, because there was a relative of ours who somebody theorized was dead, or told someone that was dead, but then they ended up calling the house, and everyone's like, what? Okay, I'm getting off topic. But a lot of people have been in situations where like, what am I meant to do? Am I meant to offer him something to drink? Am I meant to comfort him? Am I meant to say it's not your fault, or like say hi, or like what am I meant to do? And I think that really humanizes She-Hulk and Jenna's characters. I also really enjoyed the parallels of seeing her help people and showing her confidence on the way to work, which paralleled to her first issue where she was shy about starting over and, trouble came to her. Well, this time she came out looking for trouble. I know that's a little something, like, for example, I think when it comes to She-Hulk comics, there's always little moments that really shine the most. The little moments are always the biggest, which, even though that sounds kind of stupid and contradicts itself, it's true. The little moments in She-Hulk comics are always the biggest ones. And I really enjoy the parallels of seeing Jen going to work and She-Hulk going to work. That's my opinion on the comic. You like it so far? I really do. I'm also really excited for a TV show. Are you excited for that? Although I've seen a lot of hate for that online, which is unfortunate, because I'm still going to be reviewing it and watching it. Anyways, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.